Right, hello, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again after a long break. Yeah, sorry about that. I have been recovering from my operation, as some of you will know. And do you know, I think this could be just about the shiniest SV650 in the country. Just look at that. What do you think? The reason I say that is because I haven't been able to ride, so I've been spending an inordinate amount of time cleaning it. So it's looking quite good, isn't it? Anyway, lots and lots to catch up on. I'm going to give you my no-holds-barred view of recent events in motorcycling. So let's get down the road. Yes, thanks for joining me again. I do appreciate it. And ooh, doggy, it's doggy time. That sounded wrong, didn't it? Anyway, moving on. Yes, there's been lots going on in motorcycling, hasn't there, recently? And I'm sure you've watched all the videos on the demise of Superbike Factory. Seems to be the big story. I'm not going to add to that other than it's all been said, but I am going to maybe sum it up in a way, because I have got a slight bit of insight into the situation. So I thought I'd tell you by way of an anecdote, and this anecdote, if you bear with me, does rather sum up everything that I feel about Superbike Factory. Right, I'm stuck at that junction for ages. I'll cut that out for you. But yes, Superbike Factory. So, anecdote. Now, many years ago, 2010 is when Superbike Factory actually started, and at that time I was still spending a lot of time. I used to love going out and road testing bikes. It was much easier to get a test on the bike in those days. Get a demo ride. So I used to demo ride all sorts of bikes. And I used to love to go to dealers and have a look round. So when I heard about this Superbike Factory opening, I looked at the adverts and looked at the pictures, and I thought, this is going to be interesting. So off I went. I went to the Macclesfield branch, which was their original branch, and it was huge, as we know. If you don't know what Superbike Factory is, if you're not from the UK, they are the largest retailer of motorcycles in the UK, or were, and have now gone into administration. So there I was. I wandered into this huge place, basically a warehouse full of motorcycles, nicely presented. And on the outside of the warehouse were all the stations where the salesmen were housed. And I wandered in, and at that time I'd not long come out of the motor trade. If you not watched me before, I did used to work selling cars in the motor trade. I used to run a dealership that sold, specialised in, well, Porsche and BMW, really. We're a Porsche and BMW service centre, sort of aftermarket one, once they've gone out of warranty. So I knew a lot of people in the car trade. Bear with me, this is relevant. So as I wandered round Superbike Factory, I heard this person say, "Hi, Dave, what are you doing?" And it was one of the salespeople. Now, to cut a long story short, it was a guy I knew from the trade who used to sell cars. I used to meet him regularly at the car auctions. He worked quite close to me, actually, geographically on it. But I used to meet him more at the car auctions than anything else, and we used to have coffees together and chat, as you do. And there he was, and of course I went across. I said, "Well, how are you? I didn't know you were into motorbikes. I've never discussed it with you, because I was always into bikes." And he said, "Oh, I wasn't." He said, no. He said, "I left the previous employee this job came up and I applied for it. And I said, okay, so do you ride bikes then? He went, no, I haven't got a licence, haven't got a bike licence. I said, okay. And carried on chatting, and I said, asked the question, when you had the interview for the job, was it a problem that you weren't a biker yourself? No, he said, no. Didn't even ask me. Not interested whatsoever. All they were interested in, and this is the kicker, this is the point, all they were interested in was, have I got good experience and a good record in selling finance? Now, that basically sums up the business model of Superbike Factory. And he carried on telling me the story. He said the other guy they took on with me, they took on 3 guys at the same time. The one's not here today, it's his day off, but the other one's here, he's over there actually. He doesn't even have a driving licence of any kind. And I said, you're joking? He said, no, he's in his 30s, doesn't like driving, not interested in vehicles really. Used to go to work on the train and was a very good salesman. I said, what did he used to sell? He said he worked at Curry's. He was an expert in white goods. He sold washing machines. Now, just because you sell washing machines doesn't mean you can't sell motorbikes. Of course it doesn't. But the point in this is it sort of sums up what a place like Superbike Factory were all about. They're about churning finance deals. The bikes were almost secondary. Now, you might say to me, well, I don't care who I buy a bike off. If the guy doesn't ride, it doesn't bother me. It's true. That's true. But it does sort of point to the type of dealer that you're dealing with. Now, let me say it's very easy to spot this kind of dealer because they are still out there, and I'll tell you something about that in just a moment. But it's very easy to spot them. If you read the adverts from a dealer like this, they'll always be the same. Very quick description of the motorcycle, very quick. Maybe one sentence. I've been overtaken by a CRV, how embarrassing. Yeah, maybe one sentence on the bike, what year it is, how many miles it does, end off, and then 10 sentences on the finance possibilities. And that's a red flag for me. It's not, red flag. As long as you know where you're buying from, as long as you know what sort of dealer you are dealing with. And as I said, there are other dealers still in the UK like that. In fact, it might interest you to know that the ex-CEO of Superbike Factory, they had some form of fallout, I believe, started up a new dealership, which is still going now, and it's called Big Moto. You might have a branch near you if you're in the UK. Same sort of deal. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that they're a bad thing. They're a necessary, you have to get rid of a lot of used bikes, but in terms of the quality of the bikes, they will not be the same overall, on average, as the bike you'll get at your local main dealers. The reason being, the bikes at your local main dealers are cherry picked, and everything that's left ends up at one of these types of dealers. That's just the way of it. So yeah, you can get a great bike. Equally, you can get an absolute, and I know a lot of people actually have. So that's my point really. It's part of the trade, it's part of the way things work. The same things happens in the car trade. You have the same sort of dealer who advertise in exactly the same sort of way and deal with the same sort of stock. Just realise though what you're dealing with. Buyer beware. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Buyer beware. So here we go. We're at Pool Hall again. Don't know where all the ducks are. That's very odd. Usually thousands of them around. So that's all from me. Thanks very, very much for joining me today. And lots of videos to come, hopefully. So there we go. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.